He's also warning of flooding. A sick person has died from the injuries in hospital after a car drove into a Christmas market in Germany. It happened in the city of Magdeburg last month. And Cheshire police say there are no suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of drag star Vivian. The Drag Race UK winner, whose real name was James Lee Williams, was found dead near Chester yesterday afternoon.
Absolute Radio weather with Rayo, the new way to listen to Absolute Radio.
More sleet, rain and snow on the way. A chance of some winter sunshine in the east, though cold with highs of between 3 and 6 Celsius.
Oh, hello. Hey, what's up? How are you doing, sugar? Did you have a Happy New Year? Did you have a nice Christmas time, holidays and whatnot? Thanks for popping by. So my new hat, I just got it.
I've got a song which I think
it's pretty bright.
We'll do that one, Dylan.
I had a quiet Christmas. Pretty quiet New Year's Eve. Oh, thank you. Yeah, quite a quiet New Year's Eve. Just chilled with my friends. Well, I'm not going to complain because I've seen what it's like in America, but it's pretty cold here. It's been pretty cold, and we've had some pretty. Not really grumble too much, not compared to America, and it's cold, really cold though at the moment. Parts of America, Julia, what I want to say in. I want to say that. I'm probably wrong. Or Florida, somewhere like that. Ah, thank you very much. That's brilliant. I just thought about doing work, and I thought, you know what, it's really nice and cold out. Yeah, it's cold here. It's that's why I'm wearing a hat. Although hats aren't necessarily, hats are a bit of a fashion statement these days, but it is cold, so my ears are quite cold. I've been cold today. It's a bit nippy, it's sure. 10 people? No way! I can't believe it. 10 people, that's got to be a mistake. What 10 people we got on there? Hello, 10. 16! No way! You're joking me. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm cool. It's all good. There's like on a different streaming app, you can't drive and be on your phone. You can have the phone facing the other way. Yes, thank you. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, I shouldn't do this when I'm driving, but really. Oh, I don't have to. Ah, hang on. There you go. But 28! You joking me? 28 people watching me drive with a silly hat on. So what, I got a bad hat with that. This. Happiness. Oh, cold. 29. 29. You want pine? This one, way better. Proper Russian style. That's no problem, my pleasure. Most people I'm friends with on our YouTube or on my videos on my channel, so if they come and say hello, then I will add them up. 36 people. I've never had more than 10 at one go, I don't think, so that's cool. That is cool. Anyway, I was talking about biblical Bristol because Bristol is in England. Bristol in England it's on the site of a much older city or citadel. And thanks for the like, thumbs up, whoever that was. Stephen J.D. Beattie has been recently talking about the biblical Bristol, or Tarsus, or Hades, or Geddes, or Hades, or the underworld, or many different things. And Bristol is it's actually a very Christian city. It's like the whole of Bristol is set out in saints denominations. Or look where I'm from. I was born in Bishopston, which is obviously a link to Christianity. Then you got I lived in an area called Bedminster. Minster is a church. I used to work with a French guy, and he used to call it Bedminster, which I always found funny. But then you've got loads of areas of Bristol. My mum, Fran, and my uncle Bob and Auntie Pat. A lot of my family are from St George. You've got St Anne's, St Philip's, St Paul's. Yes, well done, thank you, Sugar. St Paul's, St Werburgh's, which is another area of Bristol. There's loads of St Philip's, like me, St Philip. I'm trying to think more areas, but there's loads of part of most of the city set up into saints denominations, and that's really interesting when if you listen to Stephen J.D. Beattie, who's been reading month's work. I read a couple of chapters of one of Commons Beaumont's works the other day, and Commons Beaumont, who was a prolific writer, but he was also a very he was the editor of the Daily Mail, so he was a top journalist as well. He says, or his school of thought is that Britain and Ireland are actually the original Holy Lands. And there was a major, or two actually, where comets hit the UK, or cometary debris, and it basically like set the whole of the islands ablaze. But that the islands were the remnants of Atlantis, and Ashayana Dean, whose work I have followed closely, and I believe, or I resonate with her work, because what she has to say is so much information. It's so different to the what we're told, even the out there theories is so different to them, and that stuff's always getting taken down. Yay, West Somerset. OG Somerset. Ready to mine the head chef at the Millers at the Anchor in Porlock Weir. Lovely area. Porlock Weir, pretty nice there. But back to the subject about Bristol and Commons Beaumont. I've had myself stuff I've in my own work that I put out there, which I had like sort of, how can I put it, stuff I already knew I was interested in. I just get these downloads of information, and I'll be able to put 2 and 2 together and end up with quite a complex theory. And I'd heard of Collins Beaumont, but I'd never actually read any of his work. I wasn't aware of what he had to say, apart from Michael Tsarion saying that he was like talking about Atlantis and stuff like that. But I'd never actually listened to it or read any of his work. So he actually confirmed the stuff I come up with, the stuff I like I say, download. It just comes to you in little snippets and whatnot. And the stuff I was saying, he wrote all this stuff back in the 1930s and 40s, and it's sort of it's like affirmation for what I've come up with without having ever known anything about what he said. So it's nice that it's a guy called GED Skeptic, a Scottish guy, I don't know his name, and Stephen J.D. Beattie, another Scottish guy, putting out Collins Beaumont's work. A good friend of mine, Larry Cypress, kindly Willerton. Well, I wasn't there for long. I was only there for about, I don't know, 6 months and that. But Portlock is nice. So yeah, Willerton, I know Willerton. I used to go to a pub in Willerton actually, on the road, on the Taunton Road. Played pool there. And my brother used to have a pub in Triscombe. Do you know Triscombe? On the way out of Willerton towards Crocombe, you're bound to know it. The pub's called the Blue Bull, or the Blue Bowl, I can't remember which one it was. Lovely pub, very nice pub. It's a shame he's, well, he's dead now, isn't it? But anyway, but it's a shame we ain't got it anymore. It's a lovely day, but it's a bit cold, isn't it? Sun shining. So back to the Bristol thing. Stephen J. Beattie has been, he's a very learned man. He speaks Hebrew, I'm sure he speaks Greek, and Greek is a really interesting and important language to learn. No way, that's mad. Yeah, my brother used to own it about, God, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. His name was Ian, the real big guy. He had it for about a year, I think. I can't remember. Yes, Greek. You know why Greek's an important language to learn? I have a friend of mine who's streaming at the moment, so hopefully he might pop in later if he's not. I couldn't go onto stream because it's private, so that's why I came on there myself. He was saying to me it's important to learn Greek or understand Greek. I was going to actually, I've never done it, but I should do it on Saturday. I might go there, go to a Greek Orthodox church and see if I can get a Greek Bible translated from Greek into English, because the Bible was written in Greek, not in Latin, and when you like translate stuff, it's not always like for like on translation. So by that name of that film, Lost in Translation, some things can't be translated properly, or they get misconstrued from Latin to Greek. And when you read the Greek version, oh, it's the police. Right, you can't see me. Yeah. When you, typical. They just stood there flashing lights as they go past. The story or the translation or the word as it was written is very different to the Latin version, and because of that, the Holy Roman Church, which was made by Constantine the Great, who was English, they basically used the story and they changed the Bible through using the Latin, because only the upper echelon could speak Latin. Everyone else, most people couldn't read anyway, but it was only the top, the elite that could read Latin. So, well, most people couldn't read anyway. That's why they went to church, because the vicar, we call it in England, or the priest, or the preacher, or whatever you want to call it, they would obviously read them the Bible. So even every single priest could have had that bit there, but the fact that they hijacked it. But what basically Thomas Beaumont is saying is that the actual story of the Holy Land and Bible and everything else was set here in these magical isles, and also, as Ashana Dean says, these are the remnants of Atlantis. So take what you will with Atlantis. It's basically no different to the Bible. The difference is that there isn't any like major writings on Atlantis, well, apart from Timaeus and Critias by Plato, but the Bible is a pretty well published book. But not only did I say that, but a guy, an Irish guy called Conor McGarry, who wrote that the Egypt and all the biblical stuff was set in Ireland. That's alright, no worries. I'm just getting back into. Oh God, you didn't get snowed in. Oh, good luck. You know, God bless you and all that. I hope everything you'll be safe. Anyway, you've got long enough nails to dig your way out, so you'll be alright. So you take care. Thank you very much for coming by. Thank you. So Conor McGarry talks about the Church of Isa, and in Turkey, modern day Turkey, Jesus, his name's Isa or Esa. So it's very interesting stuff. But Bristol is, according to Beaumont, the site of the biblical port of Tarsus. Now, this is an interesting thing because I, for quite some time now, have been doing my research and sort of correlating as much as I can. Hello, about paradise here in Somerset, and the story of Joseph of Arimathea, who was Jesus' great uncle, I think, is what they say. But I've heard a few different variations of that. So could even be Jesus' brother, could just be Jesus' normal uncle, but apparently it is Mary's uncle, so that would make him his great uncle. They came here, they sojourned, which means a short stop or a short stay, at Paradise, which is here. I would take you there now and show you, but I can't. I've got stuff to do. On in a ship of Tarshish, and I looked into it. I thought, what's interesting? What's this Tarshish business? And a ship of Tarshish, Tarsus of Tarshish, they say was a Mediterranean port. But then I did read that Tarsus was in Britain, but I didn't know it was Bristol. And something I found highly interesting was the logo for the Bristol City Council is a sailboat, and it's sort of a style of like what you think would be like a Mediterranean or Aegean or Greek type of sailing ship. And it's quite interesting actually. I just thought about this. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Christian, and I'm definitely not preaching the Bible, because the Bible is like revised every so often, and the Bible is basically the Roman Catholic version of a story, heavily doctored and changed. So I'm not saying they should take the Bible seriously at all, but within that there are things in the Bible which I think could have definitely happened, no doubt about it. Whether the places in the Bible are where they say they are, or what happened. I'm historically incorrect there. In which way am I historically incorrect? In which way am I historically incorrect? Because you can't really say either way whether I'm historically correct or not, because you weren't there, and nor was I. With all these things, we just, you know, the winners always. Does the existence of New Talk prove Spider-Man? Well, whether Spider-Man is a fictional character or not, I'm not saying he is a real character. I don't know if you're saying he's a real character, but there is a Spider-Man. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to write about him, would you? He was brought into existence. Exactly. I'm not saying he's not, mate. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not. It's the same as anything. I don't actually know, and nor do you. So it might be, it might not be. Flat Earth might be, might not be. Globe might be, might not be. None of us know. None of us know about any of these things, except for stuff we've physically lived through, or our families have physically lived through, and they've passed down to us. Even them doesn't mean that's 100% true. So I'm very much open-minded about everything. That is why I'm talking about this, because it's a very different take on history. Commons Beaumont and the British Isles being the Holy Lands. No worries. The thing is though, they're like, I think the best way to put this about superheroes is Thomas Sheridan, who's someone I absolutely respect. Love him, really. He's a great, really great guy, great storyteller, clever guy. He always says that like superheroes are the modern day archetypes of like saints or something, you know, those sorts of things. They are the modern day saints brought into modern day life, because like saints generally, I think, I don't know that he said this. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Thank you, Kane. Thank you. What was I saying? The modern day, yeah. So like saints tend to have become saints through miracles, I think, or like doing good. But I think quite often a miraculous thing that a saint has done, they become a saint. So superpowers are like miracles, aren't they? They're miraculous things that they can do. I can't really think of a miracle that a saint has done, or a particular saint or their superpower. But I think it's a good analogy of like superheroes of a modern day saints, like, you know, people resonate maybe with a superhero because they're just normal people that have got like a magical side maybe, or an alter ego, and people can relate to them rather than a biblical saint from a holy land, which could well not even been there. It could quite easily been here. So yeah, interesting stuff, and trying to get my hands on a copy of the Commons Beaumont book, The Great Deception. I've got a PDF on my phone, but I don't really on my other phone. I'm on this one actually, but I can't look at it while I'm on here. But I don't really like PDF books. I like proper books. You know, they're just nicer. So when I get hold of them, I will read them up. I did read a chapter the other day on this channel, did it live. I was on there for quite a few hours, and there was quite a lot of people watch it in the end. It's quite surprising, to be fair. But I was playing music and whatnot in there, and being lazy, there you go, thank you. It's a very good point. Very good point. Well, yeah, because, and it's written as well. It's not. This ain't even a bloody fairy tale. Oliver Cromwell, yeah, the butcher of Ireland, very fucking hated man in Ireland. He did the original Holocaust about the Irish, Mr. Cromwell. And do you know what? Thank you for putting that up there, because there's a very, very good book. I don't know who it's by. Oh, Charles, the Order of Melchizedek, eh? Wow, interesting. Ashram Dean talks about Melchizedek. Talks about Jesus Christ as well, but slightly different to what you all would have heard. But Oliver Cromwell, sorry, Kane. Oliver Cromwell. There's a book called The Curse of Canaan. Now, I don't know who it's by. It's on YouTube as an audio book. It's a long book, many chapters. Look, I didn't like reading books, or me, I like listening to audio books because like when I'm driving, I can have it playing and listening to it. Obviously, I can't be sat there reading a book while I'm driving. Also when I'm working, if I'm just doing menial stuff, can have my headphones on, listening to an audio book, and I'm learning all the time. Whereas reading is, you can only read, that's all you can do at that time, just read. You can't really do anything else. But yeah, The Curse of Canaan. And in that book, it documents many things. and it's a real eye-opener. But they got rid of Charles I, who was the king during the English Civil War, and it was because, if I can remember rightly, I can't remember what it was, but I will find out, and when I come on there again, I will have that information. But basically, they hoofed Charles out so they could bring in this new system, a new world order of that time, which we are in the midst of another one happening. And literally every step through in history, or perceived history, has been orchestrated. It's still being orchestrated now. The only problem is now is there's so many different so much evidence points to Ben us good souls must be one of a good bloodline. That's why they have poisoned us so much. Yeah. Oh wow! I tell you what. When we'll look at it now if you want, I don't mind. But when I finish, if you look on my page, on the community board where you put posts, Stephen JD Beatty had uploaded a video. I don't know who it's by, but it's basically to do with the covenant, bloodline covenant, and it is absolutely brilliant. It really good. Have a look. I put it up there, shared it for people to check out. And like you say, it's poisoned. Oh, the stuff they've done to keep us down. And it's the really important thing. This is that it shows how powerful we are. Like you say, how good bloodline is, how powerful we are. That they have to do all this fucking skullduggery and shithousery for us, for fucking potentially 3 seedings of humanity, going back billions of years, because humans, I don't even like saying humans, because even that is, as a word, is a spell. And we were angelic beings, but we've been literally so messed about with genetically and whatnot, that there's many people that walk around in this, on this what are we going to call it? We'll call it a realm, I suppose, on this matrix, or whatever you want to call it, that aren't actually the same. We're not the same. They look the same, they sound the same, they smell the same, may even taste the same, but they're not the same at all. And it's how you go about finding the real ones compared to the hybrids, or NPCs, as a good name for them. People should call them non-playable characters. They're there, but they're not there. Or in the case of like a human hybrids, or say I don't like saying human, but I will. But in this case, there's many of them walking around, interacting, and they're not the same as us at all. They've got the same, they look the same, but they're not the same at all. So that's why you've got to use your discernment, and you've got to be careful. You got to be careful about who you fuck with and who you don't fuck with, as a very famous saying goes. But yeah, you're right. I think you're right, mate. Ashayana Dean, she for me is I'm not saying she's 100% right. I'm not saying she's 100% true, but she has the most. She's got the most information. Literally billions of years worth of information. No one else comes out with the amount of shit she comes out with. No one else comes out with the stuff she says. Literally is so against the grain of what we're told. It's unbelievable. But the fact that it's like that, to me, it makes it believable. You know, someone tells you something and they've got so much knowledge. Like, I've got a lot of knowledge. I know I've got a lot of knowledge. I've got knowledge way beyond my years. I always have done since I was a fucking toddler. I've known about stuff. I've remembered stuff from past lives. I'm able to pull upon, I don't know how I do it, but I can pull knowledge, like for example, quizzes. I'm absolutely brilliant at quizzes. And there used to be a quiz in England called to One, and that started in 1985. Me and my friend Mark watched the second and third episode, a rerun of it, about 5 years ago. Say, I might have been about 40, and I basically smashed the leaderboard, got so many questions right, like knew loads of it, literally probably about 75% of the questions I got right. But I was 5, so like now, if they'd done it now, the current affairs questions or history questions that were set in my lifetime, you can sort of I like, say for a song, for example, I used to have like quizzes on the radio, which was just the year of the song. So in my head, when I hear a song, I would go back to where I was when I first heard it. Ooh, I'm in a band as well, Charles. I'm not trying to blame him on trumpet here, but the point I'm making about Ashram Dean. So I was 5 when that program was aired, so I couldn't. I wouldn't have been. That's okay, mate. Was the band was Toss the Feathers. I'll have a look at that. Sounds interesting. Where's Jackson? Is it? I want to say Mississippi, but I suppose it could be anywhere. Lost topic now. Yeah, so I knew all this stuff. I can't have learned. There's no way I could have learned all that stuff and remembered it all. Maybe I did, but I think, or I've been told by a couple of sort of, and I heard something today that was really interesting. A really great YouTube channel called Andre Hodge, and his website is Servant No Worries. See, Jackson could have just come into my head. Jackson, Mississippi. There's probably 1,000 Jacksons across America, but it came to me, Jackson, Mississippi. I must have heard that before to even come up with it, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I just knew. Maybe this is, I'm not trying to make out I'm anything special at all. I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to be like I'm special, but I'm able to like pull things out the sky. There might only be one Jackson in America, but I would say there's got to be more than one, because there's near enough more than one everything in America. Anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. That a couple of people have said to me that I'm able to put like Andre Hodge, for example. He said to me, you are able to, like, rather than like, I know I've had past lives. I know that for a fact, because when I was a very young child, I was able to tell my mum about my past lives. Tell my mum a lot of stuff which my mum couldn't understand, and I probably frustrated my mum terribly, because I'd know all this stuff. I was like 2 or 3, maybe 3, maybe I was a bit older than 2, I don't know. But I could tell her all the stuff about a place or a person or something that because I'd never left her side, do you know what I mean? She knows as how the hell does this little blonde-haired little rascal know this stuff. Must have done her head in, because my mum would say to me, "Oh, we're going to go to, I don't know, maybe not that. Say we were going to go to a Cricket St Thomas, which is like basically like a park and a stately home and whatnot." And I'd say to my mum, "No, rubbish, don't want to go there." My mum would be like, "How on earth? What do you mean you don't want to go there? What do you mean it's rubbish?" "Oh, I've been there before." I'd tell her what it's like. And my mum would say, "Who have you been there with?" And I'd go, "I went there with my other mummy and daddy." And my mum, I still talk to my mum about it now. She'd be like, what other mummy and daddy? Where's he got this? How did you know all this stuff? She's like, "I was there. I was here. I lived it." And when you're that age, before you start school, which is one of the worst things I think you can do, is send your child to school. If I have kids, I will not be sending them to school. When you're like a toddler before school, you're still very much connected to source and connected to your previous existence. And sometimes some children, when they're born, have very vivid memories of their previous existence. So there's part of that. Part of me thinks maybe it's the memory, my past life memories. Still, I'm able to call upon them. They're still within me. Or, as Andre Hodge said, that I'm able to like tap in subconsciously to the ether, or what do you know, to the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. I'm able to subconsciously pull upon something to be able to answer the questions. But I'm not Ashran-Dean. Ashran-Dean, and please check out Ashran-Dean. I wish I could write a note on there somehow to say, if you look on my community, you'll see stuff that she's put about Atlantis. It's a lot of information. There's many days and days and days and days worth of information to take in. But if you really want to, broaden your horizons and find out something, like, you know, really find out potentially what could have been. I'm not saying that everything she says is right, but another reason why I like Ashran-Dean so much and I resonate with her so much is because I personally have found stuff out, or have had intuition or feelings about something which no one else has ever said to me, and or haven't said to many people, but in 2 of her lectures, she's basically confirmed what I thought. One of them is about the hills around here, the small little hills, the individual hills we've got, which I for a long time felt they were built, hand built, well built, structures rather than geological formations, because some of them, you look at them, you can see they're perfect. There's 2 I can tell you right now in this area. One's called a place called Panborough, and there's it's called the Barrow Hill, and there's one in a place called Nyland Hill, and that's just 2 of them. They're all like it, but there's 2 I can say because I've been up there. I've walked up there, I've checked the thing out, and they're like Silbury Hill. Silbury Hill is the largest step pyramid in Europe. But my friend bought some woods, and we basically the woods are on the hill, and it's on the site of an old castle, an old Iron Age hill fort, but not. We thought it was the very top of the hill, not the whole thing. And my mate had a tent which was like on the hill, and if you've ever slept in a tent on the hill, it's a pain. You always slip down. It's not comfortable. And I had a thing called a bivy bag, which is like a big waterproof sleeping bag. It's like a cover for a sleeping bag. It's like brilliant, really cool. And I didn't want to be sleeping on a hill in a bivy bag because I knew I'd wake up at the bottom. So I decided to try and fashion a thing called a screen, which is basically you get some trees that aren't too far apart, and you get some branches, and you weave the branch in between the trees, and then you make like a screen. And then you get leaves and whatnot, you put it down to make it flat, so it's sort of flattish, and then you can't roll down the hill because you've got a screen in the way, and it protects you from the wind as well. And I all I had to do, all the tools I had to do that with was a handsaw, a wood saw. And my friend's daughter, her partner, and the dog came up, and my friend walked them back to their car, and I was like, well, I'm going to start hacking away at the hill with this handsaw. And in all honesty, it worked really well. It was absolutely fantastic. But the problem with it was that it kept hitting rocks. And so I levelled like a small section of it out. And then we levelled a bit more of it out, and then Rob bought a bell tent, so we basically levelled out about 10 meters squared on a gradient of like, I don't know, probably 3 meters deep at the deepest part to not very deep at the edge. And we've done that by hand with shovel, pickaxe, lump hammer, sledgehammer, crowbar, because once you got past the earth, hey, what's up, mate? You alright? Thanks for dropping by. Once you got past the earth, you would what's the time? Oh, right. Hey JP, how you doing, mate? You alright? yeah, so kept hitting rocks in our work. And as we did it bit by bit, there's a look. Yeah, it's cold here as well, mate. I'm just sat at the yard now. I was out earlier, but I couldn't achieve what I wanted to do. But I'll tell you what I did achieve. I achieved this hat. What do you reckon is that? Oh, where did you get that hat? Where did you get that hat? What am I on about? The hill. 10 metre squared by 3 metre deep. Like flattening out, levelling out. And as we were doing it, we realised the whole hill. Yeah, exactly. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. Just in case, I need to go incognito, undercover. Hit the lights. Well, this one. Do you know what? Earlier on, I had 44 people watching the stream. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the? What the? So this leveling out, we realised that the whole hill. Yeah, me too. You know what? I was after one of them Russian hats for ages. I really wanted one of the ones, the proper Russian army ones, you know, with the hammer and sickle badge on the front that you get from like your army surplus when you were kids. But they're hard as hell to find. But I was on the hunt for one, and I found, as usual, one in a charity shop, a grey one, but it was a bit big. And then I found a couple of days later, I found this black one, which is fits perfect, but it's not like I'm not an advocate of like fur or killing animals, but if it's already dead, then fuck it. So this hill basically was built, the whole thing's built, and not only that, it's like as you was like leveling it out and breaking it apart, we found seams of quartz, like shitloads of quartz. And I'm not joking you, we had like, up that on that hill, up on our camp, there's got to be like 3 tons of quartz we've dug out, literally. And that's just the quartz, the rest of the stone. But I couldn't work out. So Paul Kirk talks about the poured stones of geopolymer and whatnot. Oh, there's a cat. There's a black cat. Maybe I could make another hat with that black cat. No way. Talks about poured stones and whatnot. But the stones there weren't massive, big stones to be able to make you think, how on earth did they move them stones? But the quartz was like, quartz is as heavy as stone, if not heavier. Like, you know, you hold a piece of quartz, you hold a stone, it's the same sort of size to weight ratio. And I couldn't work it out. I was there thinking, I said to Squirrel Sniper, work it out how they poured the stones, but how'd they pour the quartz? And Squirrel was like, well, what about if they just built around the quartz? I was like, oh, right, yeah, yes. Ashan Dean explained something called the Nubiran diotic crystal group, which were huge pylon crystals. She said the size of the Empire State Building, some of them, and it made me think. You know what? This whole fucking, and also is a very important thing. It's why it resonates so much. These hills here, they're all fucking built. You just got to look at them. You don't have to do any fucking digging. You can just look at some of them. They're like perfect conical like shape. Not all of them. There's one just here behind that building. I can't really show you. Maybe I can actually. The best way is to show you these. I think we can. I don't know whether it's a view of it. Anyway, the shape of these hills and whatnot, they're just too geometrically perfect. And I'm not sure what Dean says these not but Nuberian Bardic crystal grid are, and this is the point where I'm like, right, okay, there's something in this, because I have personally with my own hands like found this out. That this one particular hill has been built. It's like a dry stone wall where it's been formed around a lot of quartz. Now, obviously, I haven't excavated the whole hill, but I would bet my fucking life that whole hill has a massive fucking quartz fucking centre. And I strongly believe all these hills around there, all these little hills, have a massive quartz centre, and they've been built. And the kicker was that the place where this Nuberian Diotic crystal grid is there's a thing called Stargate 11, which is a place in Wiltshire near Stonehenge. I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but I'm going to go there. And a place in Ireland called the Isle of Eye, and the Isle of Eye is called Q Site 11. And the Q Site is like the control for the Stargate. Say each Stargate has got a Stargate and a Q Site. So the Q Site is like the control panel. That's the best way I can describe it. And this Nuberian Diotic crystal grid is slap bang. Yeah, I know. The thing is, the LiDAR, it does my head in. There's massive fucking sections of it. It's blanked out, and wherever I do, like the one here, Brent Knoll, or Mount Sion as we call it, massive parts of it blanked out, so you can't. Oh, actually, tell a lie. There is a LiDAR copy of Brent Knoll, and guess what it is? It's a fucking hell of a lot of fucking stone. And it's an amazing shape as well. So I didn't know whether the ground penetrating radar can penetrate through the stone. But the place where this Nuberian Diotic crystal grid is slap bang in the middle of Q Site 11, an island, and Stargate 11, the Stonehenge area, or the Vale of Pewsey, as it's named, in Wiltshire. And guess where that is? The middle, the slap bang in the middle is of Q Site 11 and Stargate 11. Yes, you're right. It's here, where these hills are. So exactly. It doesn't take a rocket scientists to work that out. They'll only let you see what they want you to see. But the thing is, I've been very lucky to have access to be able to dig out by hand part of one of these hills. It's not the standard thing. You can't just go and start digging out 10 meters squared of a hill without getting shot by the farmer or getting in trouble. So I've been very lucky to have got access to that, and because of that, purely because of that, I have managed to find the quartz. And the conundrum or the quandary that I had of the how on earth did they get all the quartz up here? How did they pour the quartz? All these things, and then thanks to the squirrel, well, maybe they built around it. I've got one. Stephen JDBT on his Facebook page has put a link for the pie grid. It's called, yeah. Is that the one you're on about? The pie grid? I downloaded it, but it's rubbish on my phone. I don't know whether it's better on a computer or whatnot, but it's really like you can't really make out anything. You can make out Britain and the area, but you can't make out the individual bits what makes the pie grid. So but yeah, the ley line grids fucking definitely match up, mate, because Glastonbury, which is another one of these hills, and Glastonbury is probably the best example without having actually had to do anything to show you how they sculpted that hill. It's like all being sculpted and like not natural. I've got a map called the what's his name? Polton Jenkins is an artist and a special kind of guy. He's got a map, a Glastonbury ley lines map, and yeah, they all fucking the ley lines are that come out of Glastonbury are absolutely phenomenal. But that is absolutely nothing compared to Silbury Hill. Silbury Hill is like the epicenter of I think so. The pie grid is called. Do you know who Stephen JDB is? Have you heard of him? He's fucking brilliant. I've like left quite a lot of comments on his videos, and he's interacted with me, and he's told me to get in touch. And he has done a few videos with Dark Matters, I think it's called, their YouTube page, who my friend Larry Cypress has done a lot of stuff with. So he gave me Stephen's deep, like a Facebook and whatnot. I've messaged him and added him, but he hasn't. But I'm sure he will, because like he said, he lives in Scotland, so it's pretty hard for him to do anything down here, whereas I got a hell of a lot of knowledge of this local area, and I'm here, so we will work together at some point, but that's as and when sort of thing. But the Asher Island Dean thing, the Glastonbury tour, Brent Knoll, near enough all of the little hills and the hill range here, the Mendips, and the highest peaks where you have the trig points, they've got fucking water reservoirs or inspection fucking bits. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, because when you speak to someone else who's lived a completely different life and experienced different things, physically done stuff, that's how you're able to compare your notes, and like, you can learn from one another, that's what's important. Really, really good opportunity. And he sounds like a really fucking smart guy. Like, he knows his languages, his classical languages. He's done a lot of work into it all, so hopefully get to do some stuff with him. And Larry wants to do some stuff with him as well. Do you know Larry, JP? Larry Cypress, he's brilliant. He's like, he's such a funny guy, but clued up on stuff as well. Really, when we went to Cornwall, Me and Rob and my friend Sam and Larry, we went on the hunt of the giants. The giants, what's it called? Like fossilized bodies in the landscape. I believe in giants. I think you'd have to be a bit like naive not to believe in giants or ghosts or any of it really, but there's loads of proof of the existence of giants. But to the level of giants, what are we talking? How big were these giants? 7 foot, 12 foot. Yeah, Larry's sound, mate, sound as a pound. Really, really good guy, and also like talented. He's like really good on computers and really good on editing, really good on all that sort of stuff. But he's got the tools to do it. He's got a wicked drone, really good drone, and he's really good at flying it. And yeah, he's really good. When we went to Cornwall, so I was like, I believe in giants. Yep, I believe in giants. But how big were these giants? How big were these giants? We think massive, fucking huge. We or Larry found, and we went down, and we actually climbed inside the fucking like mouth or jawbone or skull of a giant. Huge. I don't know how big. I want to say the skull, I want to say like 100 meters across, if not more. And most people will be like, yeah. But when you actually go there, and then when you are able to see from the drone, and you're actually in the fucking mouth of the giant, I think you would probably be open to it being a real thing. Do you know what I mean? Nothing like physically experiencing something, and that for me is the like ultimate. So, listening, jumping on out of London Man's streams, because they're always really good. And I don't know who it was he was talking about. Going about flat Earth. Oh, they had one flat Earth thing, one globy thing, or whatever it was, and I'm open to the possibility that it could be a flat Earth, or it could be a globe, or it could be a flat Earth within a globe. Why not? Could be anything, Could be flat Earth in a globe. Why not? If it can be half a globe, why can't it be a whole globe? Doesn't make any sense to me, But like they're all arguing. They know for sure. They don't fucking know. They don't know anything. I said basically being able to admit that you might be wrong is like so fucking empowering, I think, rather than being like yes I'm right 100%, can't be wrong. Well, yeah, you're just wasting every single other person's time and your own time by harping on about flat Earth or about globe or about any of it, because you don't fucking know and you can't really prove any of it. You just can't. So don't bother wasting your time, wasting everyone else's time. And that's the whole point of it, is to take you off the topic of what's really going on. What is really going on? The stuff I've experienced, I know, because I've been there, seen it, done it. I know it's happened. I'm not going on what someone else has said and someone else's calculations. My nephew, I love him. He's like me. He's like a smarter, more sensible, better looking, more intelligent, maybe. That's yet to be seen. Yeah, exactly. It's all just fucking nonsense to stop you fucking finding out what's really going on. He is adamant. He even said to me, I mean, what I love is that what I love about him is his the audacity that he's like one day goes, trust Uncle Phil, trust. I was like, trust? You're asking me to trust you about the flat earth when you haven't got a fucking clue, and nor has anyone else. You know? All you're going on is what other people say. You know, I could have a blackboard with an equation going, that's the answer, proves flat earth. There's not many people, well, there's no one can have proved that because it's potentially total bollocks. Could be a real equation, it could be, I could know what I'm going on about. But anyone else who's looking at that fucking equation can't do the fucking maths. You know? So they're just like going on what someone else says about all the stuff. And everything is what someone else says, unless you've physically been there and done it. And as Robert Bruce, a very fucking, who's passed away now, but a very clever guy, very tapped in guy, said the best bit of advice he was ever given on the higher level of stuff is, unless you physically know and have experience and physically know, don't waste your breath. Don't give it any fucking no time at all. Don't talk about it. Don't speak about it. Don't do nothing, because you're just pissing up a rope. Because you don't know. You don't know. And that's what the thing is with all these. And I'm not saying it isn't a flat earth. Don't get me wrong. It could be. Multiple different things it could be. You know? It could even be a flat earth for me and a globe earth for you. Because we're two completely different people that are able to see different things. Do you know what I mean? It might be as simple as that for every person. It's like something different. We don't know. So don't fucking waste your breath. And I'd really like to get in onto one of those Underman streams where they're fucking, or one of those things where you got flat earthers or whatever whittering on about it and saying, and I just want to say to him, look, I said to my nephew, and he still argue with me about it, and they will argue as well. I'm like, could you be wrong? What? No. What? So impossible for you to be wrong. There's no way that you're wrong. No. So you can definitively prove it. You know? Yep. But they can't. They can't admit they're wrong. Because the moment they admit they're wrong, or they could be wrong, or there's a possibility that it isn't a flat earth, that fucks that whole story, doesn't it? It's just, you know, all you got to do is to be like, is there a chance you could be wrong about this? You know, the moment they say yeah, because there is always a chance you could be wrong about something, unless you physically know, and none of us do, so your whole argument's fucked, isn't it? That's why in fucking court, when you get arrested, your solicitor goes, no comment. Say no comment to everything apart from your name, your date of birth, and maybe your address. I can't remember because it's a long time since this happened to me. Because these are the only things that you can, like, you know, because everything else they can fucking fuck you about with. They can manipulate you, and that's what they do. So the three things that you can't unequivocally deny, and you know, or can't be proved wrong. Exactly. But that's the thing about the psyop, because a lot of these people in the flat earth whatever community, who've got the big bloody YouTube channels, or the big what does it were? Excuse me. Let's take a tablet. They're on the payroll. They're out there purposely to fucking keep it rolling, keep the fucking shite rolling, keep it going. That's what they want you to do. Just keep on going, so that you don't uncover real truths. You don't ask your real questions. Like I say to my nephew all the time. Okay, so it's flat Earth, yeah? And what? What difference does it make? Oh, well, they're probably lying to us. Lying to us? I need a flat Earth to know they're lying to me. Lying to me about everything. Everything you can think of. They say they're doing with their left hand. They're not doing with their left hand. What they're doing with their right hand. Everything's a lie. Not everything, most things are fabricated nonsense. To keep you down. To keep the man down. You know, the biggest fear of the ruling classes, or the ruling class, the biggest fear is that the rest of us stand up to them and revolt and say, kick them out, you know. That's been their biggest fear for time forever. But they managed to, how shall I put it? They've managed to ease their worries by giving them the option to basically nullify themselves of any like worry or fear or any possibility of an uprising by having the old I don't mean fucking heroin. I'm on about the you know what, the old Jabberwocky. The moment when you add that, essentially you've given up your right to be able to do anything, because they will be able to control you somehow. Excuse me, I don't know how yet, but they definitely will be able to. There is still a percentage of people that still can do something, but it's just made it a lot harder for us. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, JP? You know what I mean? If that's what it was all about, I think, was that the moment you've had that what's the word? Self-imposed attack on your own immune system and mind, that's cancelled you out of any possibility of breaking away and changing it. You know what I mean? I think, anyway, personally. But there you go. We're not all like me or you, JP. Exactly. It's quite scary actually. If I'm honest, how easily people are sucking into stuff. Don't get me wrong, I have been guilty of believing stuff in the past, but that was before I had a sort of had an idea of what was going on in the world and what was. Sorry about that, I'm still here. The late great Alan Watt, one of a few people who really helped me sort of open my ears and eyes to what's going on in this vast hellish existence that we are. We've all fell for one thing or another, and we put the work in. Exactly. But like I said earlier on, there's vast waves of this world, they look like you and I, sound like you and I, well, maybe not sound, or what they're saying, but they sound like you and I, they smell like you and I, they feel like you and I, but they're not like you and I. They're very, very different, you know, and that is the battle. It's like there's many different, how may I put it? There's many different forms of creation in this existence we live in, and some of them aren't the real deal. They have been deep one, but they've been like created or genetically modified or whatever you want to call it, to have a purpose, you know, but they're not us. They're not the bona fide people who have we've all got something to do here. We've all got a purpose. Even those ones that aren't on the original, the real deal, the real McCoy, they got a purpose, but it's different to ours. Their purpose is to hinder our purpose, and then bulk. So it makes it harder and harder and harder. And when it comes to like surviving and even like trying to fight to stay alive, maybe they're there to stop us, to cancel us out. So that's the thing, you know. It's a very complex world, and the fight we have is where we are literally fighting a multifaceted, massive, huge machine which has got so many tentacles in so many different things that it's almost impossible. It's like if you look at it as on a like, you know, sensible thing, you know, a bit stupid to even try really, but still got to try, you still got to do it, because otherwise it will just be, we would have lost and they would have won. And we've got a purpose here, you know. And the people, like I said, the people on the big names in the whole community for the flatness or the roundness, shall we say, the bigger they are, I think they're less credible. Definitely, because it's so hard to gain followers on YouTube. It's literally one of the hardest platforms out there to be able to gain followers on. And I got like, I don't know how many followers I got, 400 or something, I think. But that's taken a long time, you know. I haven't been flat out like non-stop pushing my YouTube. I literally haven't been on. I've got a lot of content on my YouTube channel, but it's not. Well, mate, it's not that recent. There's some recent stuff, but not that much stuff. But it's so hard to get subscribers and whatnot. It really is, really hard. So when they got like bloody, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or 50, 60, 70, 80,000, I think to myself, because when you start making a noise, like, and it's going to start causing a like kerfuffle for those people in charge, get sniffled out straight away. And even the ones that like are on the payroll or are, how can we say, iffy, you know, the likes like David Icke, people like that massive, you know, sell out arenas and whatnot. They're all like, they're all iffy. None of them are like, none of them are real bona fide, I don't think. Because you wouldn't be allowed to get that big, you know what I mean? You get not necessarily taken out, but you get chops at the ankles, so you can't grow on purpose. What do you think, JP? What do you think about that? Do you think that? As I do. I've heard people tell me that know some of the people of the you know, superstar status on YouTube and this truth movement. there's nothing truth about it, I don't think, anymore. I think like everything, like every single type of movement that's ever happened that's potentially could upset the apple cart big time, it gets hijacked, usurped, and this country does it better than anyone of being able to pull the rug from someone's feet and then take that momentum and that like positive, like that action, and stick their own person in and divert it onto what they want. I mean, that is a definite. I think you'll find it's all these big names, and they seem like real genuine nice people. I put a little short video up a little while back about Graham Hancock, and I used to love Graham Hancock. I have followed Graham Hancock since I was about, I reckon since I was about 14 years old. The first thing I ever saw him do was on Channel 4, and it was about underwater civilizations or sunken cities, and he is a very, very, very good journalist, an even better communicator or orator, very clever, and an amazing scuba diver. So the series was amazing, groundbreaking, and I loved it. I loved him. I still love him, but I'm just a little bit, what's the word? A little bit disappointed in him, because he just ruined it for me. When I heard an interview with him talking about the pyramids and the whole geopolymer, and he killed himself, literally. He'd gone from like literally on a pedestal where I was concerned to just one of the other people that shoot themselves down. He said, right? He said basically that, oh yes, geopolymer, the whole geopolymer argument about was, and he was like concise about it. The Geopolymer Institute in France, and the guy who set it up, and he said it can be almost guaranteed that the smaller stones on the pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza and whatnot, are geopolymer. You can almost guarantee it, but the big stones, the multi-ton stones, the stones that cannot physically be fucking moved no matter how we try, the ones that have been, you know, hand carved, all that nonsense, definitely not. I thought, what? This is a script, and you are allowing these people who are writing this script for you to totally ruin you, because if you can make the smaller stones out of geopolymer, which are easier to move, and logically, why would you bother fucking about with the smaller stones made out of geopolymer, which you could easily move? So it's possible, but the big ones, no way. It really upset me, because he is such a good journalist. He is such a good communicator and orator. He's really like clever man. But because he is compromised somehow along the line, somewhere he has been compromised. Whether it was the big money Netflix series, I don't know. Could be a number of things. Could be anything. He's allowed himself to be, in my mind, ruined. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Him, shim, whatever you want to call it, they, them, other, whatever you want to say. He was my favourite of all. Like, you know, like I said, I've been following him since I was like 14 years old. And his word was the truth. And then he'd done that, and I was like, oh, man, you know, why? Why have you let it happen? For money. What was he saying? And the thing is with him, I don't want to like bash Graham Hancock too much. He's bashed himself, really. But the thing is with him, he's a really clever man. He can't be that stupid to think that they would make geopolymer smaller stones, but not the 100-ton ones. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I do understand it. He's basically been bought out. He's been compromised, or he's sold himself, and he's now at their fucking whim to say whatever they want him to say, and discredited himself. So it's a shame. Definitely a shame. There's a few of them out there, but him the most, and that's what we're up against. But saying that, you know, that isn't a thing to be up against, is it? That's nothing, because if they're blatantly, like, you know, proving that they're talking shit, because, you know, it's not no matter how many university degrees you've got, or how many thousands and millions of followers, or whatever it is, you know, there's nothing better than your own common sense and being able to work something out, and whether you know whether something's right or wrong from just knowing. You know what I mean? It's just obvious. So that's one thing we should be like happy about. Yeah. What's her name? Zanti or something. Yeah, it could be anything. I know he's very much in love with her, and she's very much like part of his has been part of his whole work. I know she's very much involved. He's got a daughter as well, who's his daughter is very much in amongst it. I don't know her name. I don't know her, but I have heard him talking about her before. And the other sad thing for me, really sad thing, is that he's another Somerset man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's his fucking, literally, she's his other half. And I will imagine that she has probably done, like, written half the work, has given half the knowledge, everything, you know. So yeah, it could be something as simple as that. You know, he loves her so much that he but he got, I would imagine he got a lot of money from Netflix for that series, or the series is. And once again on Netflix, you've got some pretty big names on there, haven't you? Joe Rogan. I mean, he's massive on because of Joe Rogan. I mean, most people know him because of Joe Rogan, but like I said, I've known him fucking way before fucking Joe Rogan had ever fucking heard of the bastard. And you know, Joe Rogan, you know, nothing against Joe Rogan, but you know, he's got to have the biggest podcast in the world. So I would say that he's pretty much on the payroll, wouldn't you? Definitely, 100%. But my nephew said to me one day, this is like I said, he's a very clever guy and I love him to bits. He's absolutely brilliant. I wouldn't have him any other way, probably. Maybe, yeah, exactly. Randall Colson. Randall Colson. He is a very clever guy, and I've listened to a lot of his stuff. He talks about an awful lot about the Holy Grail and the stuff I'm interested in. But yeah, he's like, but him particularly openly admits he's a Freemason and whatnot. And I'm not saying that all Freemasons are bad. I think there's probably elements of Freemasonry which are good, but as a group, I think they're probably pretty dodge. So it's got to make you think, Freemason and whatnot. He's a bit Dodge City. Because Randall Colson, once again, is really just done a lot of work. He's pretty different to Graham Hancock, isn't he? The way he goes about and does stuff. But he gets out there and he does it, and he puts a very good argument across. Very well. But dodgy. All of them. So you got him on there, Joe Rogan. Who else is on there on that series? There's some pretty famous people. I'll tell you what, mate. I kick myself when I think about it. Every single time I think about it, I had in my hands basically an old Masonic book with all the dates and the calendar, basically, and everything, like the handbook to all the Masonic stuff, in a charity shop in Clevedon. And because I probably wanted a t-shirt or something stupid, I said to him, would you mind holding this back for me and I'll come back and get it? Yes, no problem. A couple of quid, like priceless, basically. No, the knowledge I would have gained from that book would have been worth all the t-shirts in the world. But I didn't. I fucking stuck it to one side and didn't go back for a week or so. And when I'd gone back, it'd gone. I was like, fuck. That would have been an absolute gem. I think Mr. Squirrel Sniper's told me he's got a pretty good Masonic book, actually. But yeah, you're right. There you go. It's all connected, isn't it? That library. I'd love to be able to like have a peek. Even like the British Library. When I was in London at university, I was there for a very short time. But I was there. You can go. You're allowed to go in the British Library if you're a student. And I used to live very close to the British Library. I used to go past there and I used to think, oh, I'd love to go in there. But you can't. It's not just any old Tom, Dick, or Larry. But yeah, I would imagine some of the facts you get out of these books. Thomas Sheridan said he managed to get his hands on a Masonic book, and in that book it basically explained football. Not just football, but this is one example he gave, how football, association football as it's known, is a Masonic game, and it was brought about. Like, whenever we say that to someone, they go, "No, it's not. I've been playing football for years. There's a kick a sheep's bladder about." Well, yeah, that as a kick about, like, rough up, fuck about game, yeah, there's been a ball and people kicked it. But as a, like, yeah, just ask him to leave the back door open one day. Yeah, you gotta get in there, man. That'd be brilliant. Imagine being locked in there for 24 hours with a flask and some sandwiches and a torch, and just being allowed to, like, fucking rummage. It'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant. Because I'll definitely tell you the football story. So he explained that football, association football, which is the official term for football, or soccer as they say, rather than rugby football union or rugby football league or American football or Australian football or whatever, it's a specific set of rules and layout, and you know, but that it was introduced, and this is is connected to what I was saying earlier about the fear of the uprising to kick out this ruling elite has always been at the forefront of their worry. That's the only thing they've done. Oh, goodness me. I would love to. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so football come about. I think football team or associated football team, official football team, was Sheffield United, then Sheffield Wednesday. I think then Notts County and Nottingham Forest, all that in that area. But basically, they made football because they were worried about, after the Napoleonic Wars and all the wars that we'd been in, and people had lost their families, and they were still, like, even after all the wars and all the shit that happened, they were still completely destitute and poverty stricken. But the upper echelon of the people were living the good life, flaunting it, and literally terrible stuff. They were worried about, like, in the peacetime, I guess, of between wars, as it were, because they obviously plan all this stuff, that the football was to basically create a division between the family, the home, because yeah, I'm not too sure about that, because once they had guns, archery was sort of pretty defunct, wasn't it? But oh no, I see what you mean. Actually, they'd be able to fight back. So yeah, basically, it was caused a division between the family at home, and that's what this whole thing has been about, is to create, like, get rid of the family. You know, family is fucking almost not even a real thing anymore, is it? And then split the town up, because you'd have all the big cities and all the big cities in England. From Bristol as an example, Bristol City, Bristol Rovers, blue, red. Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Everton. Who else we got? Can't think at a minute. They'll be there. Well, most of the big places will have more than 2 teams, but the teams that were red were the sun, and the teams that were blue were the moon, and that's the Masonic part of it all. And that's why it's like actually, I'll show you something. It's pretty interesting. So you get the blue and the red of the moon and the sun, and it's all very much how should we say, like modern football now. There's a guy called Tim Refat. Tim is nicknamed himself Tony Stark Refat. He put it out there that football was the one world religion for the new world order, and it's a pretty good argument, I think, because, well, for a start, nearly every country plays football now. Even the countries like America, which it's taken a long time to break America, they're mad for it now. Especially now that someone like, yeah, exactly, not me, it's nonsense. Do you know what really done it for me? And it all come about at the same sort of time, and the realization was that Euro final against Italy at Wembley. I was like, this is fixed. This is 100% fixed. I can't think of anything more blatant. The whole country, if not the world, were wanting like Jack Grealish and a couple other people to come on at like 60 minutes. You know, everyone was like, come on, bring him on, bring him on. The only person in the whole fucking world that couldn't see that was the man in charge, you know. And we should have stuffed them, absolutely obliterated them. Exactly. It's like it was after that, and then I was at a similar sort of time where I was just listening to this guy. He's explaining that and with Thomas Sheldon talking about the whole Masonic thing. I was like, you know what? He's right. He's 100% right. I'm sure of it. The one world religion, because it is. Yeah, 100%, mate. Nowadays, especially. Don't get me wrong. You know, I stopped playing football about 2 years ago. And like grassroots level, like I was coaching football, which I'm going to show you now, because the guy I work with, he coached, and he was throwing this out the other day. I was like, oh, what's that? I noticed this. I was like, oh, I can't have that. Because I come up with this, right, after listening to Tim Refat talking about it being the one world religion and whatnot. Because he was saying, like, every country plays football. Men and women now, you know, women's football's massive. Yeah, exactly. But also, it's all about energy harvesting. And I had an epiphany about the whole thing. This whole thing is like, where did they play that game against fucking Italy? Where did they play it? What's the cathedral of football? What's the, like, you know, where is it? What's it called? Yeah, and VAR, exactly. I think VAR is to push fucking transhumanism because we're not fucking good enough. It's been alright for like fucking 100 odd years without having to have a fucking computer involved. But you know, it's just to prove that we're not good enough. We're subspecies or whatever. But where did they play that game? Where's the cathedral of football, the home of football? You know, where is this like fucking, what's it called? And I come up with this. No one else had put this into my mind. It was just me, because I understand about all these things. Yeah, but what's it called? What's that place called where they play, where England play, and that final was, and all the cup finals and everything is at the football. What's it called? And it's all in the word. All in. No. That's in Cardiff. What's the one in England called? What's that song? What's that song? Oh. Wembley. Ley. Lay. Node. Conjunction. Energy spot. Energy harvest. Massive. The whole thing. Everywhere. It's just one huge energy harvesting. Can you imagine the amount of fucking energy that was that energy that was like in concentration that was heaped upon Wembley that day, and how many days they've had all that. The cathedral of football, and even they had the two towers. Yeah, Ley. All these places, like, yeah, Wembley. Hey, Kane, still there, mate? Well done. Wembley, exactly. Wombley, yay! Think about that. The womb. Nice. Didn't never. Thank you. That didn't come up. But also, so Wembley is the energy harvesting centre of football, the main one. But obviously, there's fucking vast network of energy harvesting points. And what were these places before? Before it was football? They're everywhere. Because every fucking village in England's got a football pitch. What else has every village got in England and Scotland and Wales and Ireland and most Christian places? Well, they all got a church. So that was the original harvesting place, the religious place. Now it's football. And so when Tim Riefat was explaining all that, I thought to myself, fucking hell. Because I had this book. I bought this book from the charity shop, and it was pre-Second World War, 1930s. And in the 1930s, the football pitches didn't have the not semicircle. Yeah, the semicircle. Well, basically, I'll show you now, right? Can you see that? I don't be able to see it very well. Yeah. Do you see that all right? Bit hard to see, isn't it? See the picture? Football pitch? Oh, hang on a minute. Right, so the football picture, pretty standard. That's what a football pitch is. Pre-war, didn't have this. And the reason they say they have this, which makes sense, is so that people could be all the same distance from the penalty spot, so no one could encroach. But how I saw it, how I interpreted it, when I looked at it, I thought, oh, fucking hell. So football is a one world religion, and the we're talking about like the messianic religion of the returning of the Christ will be when the third temple on the mount is finished built, that's when he comes back. Well, what have we got here on this football pitch? What's this? The temple's got a domed roof, haven't they? So we've got one temple, two temples, and then if you were to fold this pitch along the middle, so each end touched each other, you've got here, look, another temple, look, with a dome roof. Both sides, you've got three temples. Circumpunct. What do you mean, this bit here? With that? Circumpunct, wow. Thank you. Again, you educate me here. So a punct is a spot. A circular spot. Yeah. Oh, wow. So that's like a portal, isn't it? Makes even more sense now you said that. Because that's where the game started. From the spot outwards. Interesting. It's an ancient symbol. Ah. There you go then. So thank you. So my fucking observation has now become even more relevant, because not only is it the third temple on the rabbinical temple, or the Temple Mount for the Messianic fucking return, you have the circumpunct. I'll have to look into that. Circumpunct, circular spot. I know punct is a spot because in Germany, I don't speak German, but I remember my friend told me this. The symbol for cycling in Germany is called der Grünpunkt, which means the green spot. I'm right. So yeah, wow, thank you, mate, because that's just fucking like reinforced my theory about football and the football pitch being the fucking esoteric fucking symbol. Paul the Black Sheep Researcher has a bit of symbols you might want to check out. Will explain more, mate. Yeah, I will do. Thank you, Paul the Black Sheep Researcher. See, I'm fucking. My problem is I work on YouTube and whatnot. Work with, I like to do some stuff with. Okay. Have a fucking open thought. I'm checking them out. All the black sheep, check them out. Brilliant, thank you. What the f*** what the flop? No way! Who, mine? Probably because we're talking about we're on to something. There you go, definitely gone on to something. I think I might put my hand over the thing as well. What the flock? So my name is Philip Locke, and my mate calls me Philippe Flock. So when I seen what the flock, I was like, no way, that's me, Flock, Flocky. My mate calls me. So I thought it was quite a connection there because of his name. What the flock? I thought it was a good one. So now he's Paul the Black Sheep Researcher. Yeah, I do think I remember him being called Paul on London Spring actually, because there's a few different Pauls knocking about, isn't there? Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, I could fucking write a book on the old synchronicities, mate. Literally, they never stop. They never ever stop. The other day I was at my mate's house on my birthday, right? This is deep. He put a song on by an artist called Ren, R-E-N. And no, I know what you mean. I have seen him on London's chat though. This guy called Ren. So basically, I had a dream a little while back about Bluetooth, Bluetooth. And in my dream, Bluetooth was like a vampire, and it was killing everyone. And like, to me, that means like Bluetooth, the waves, the microwaves or whatnot, are fucking toxic, especially like earbuds. I've got Bluetooth headphones, but usually I have I hardwire it so I don't have it on Bluetooth, but I fucking lost the wire somewhere. So I've had to have it on a couple of times, and I've had to take it off and be like, don't fucking ignore your own fucking... Ah, nice. Don't ignore your own fucking prophecy here, because you end up killing yourself by using the Bluetooth. But my mate had this which got its JBL Bluetooth speaker, and it is brilliant. It's loud and it's really clear and it's really good quality, but it's Bluetooth. And I was like, So I was listening to a song, right? And I was looking at the Bluetooth, and I was like, in my head, I was like, right, I'm not going to allow the Bluetooth to affect me, because I'm going to be like, my positive energy and power is going to knock the negative energy of the Bluetooth out. And I started thinking about the Bluetooth and how like all the negative stuff, and how through my own like personal positive power, I'd be able to like knock out the Bluetooth. Then this song, right, it starts talking about exactly the same shit, and what was going through my head before I even heard the lyrics and everything else. He basically, literally, he said what I was thinking, and I was like, what the fuck, right? And it was on my birthday. My birthday's the 28th of December, and it was what was it? That was it. It was 7 o'clock, right? And I said to my mate, I said, this is fucking mental, because he obviously didn't know what I was thinking. He didn't know what I was thinking, but I knew what I was thinking. And I was like, listen, mate, I said, this is magic happening here, right now. I said, if this song finishes at 19:10, because 1 and 9 is 10, and 8 and 2, because my birthday is 28, 2 and 8 is 10. I said, if it finishes at 19:10, this is magic, right? And it was like literally 7 o'clock, like 7:01, 7:02, something like that, when I said this, right? And I was like, if it finishes at 19:10, I said, this is a fucking really special moment in our lives. So 10-minute song is like, there are obviously plenty of 10-minute songs, but this song, right? It's a guy called Ren. I don't know. Oh, what am I doing? It's a guy called Ren. I don't know what the song's called, but we're listening to it, and it's just about to finish, right? And I was like, wow, that's it. And it sort of went a bit quiet, like quiet for a second. Then he started his poem. So he starts a poem at the end of the fucking song, which goes on for about 3 minutes. And it fucking, I shit you not, it finished on fucking 19:10. I fucking broke down, cried my eyes out. I was like, oh my God, you're right. I was like, I said, bud, this is like fucking magic. I said, like, how many songs do you know that end and then have a fucking 3-minute poem at the end? I've never heard of one, but this one fucking did. It was exactly at the right time, literally. The moment I fucking said it, if this finishes at 19:10, I said, this is magic. Because, like I said, it was the 28th of December, 2 and 8 is 10, and it's 19, 1 and 9 is 10, and then obviously 10, and it fucking did it. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. That was literally, it was absolutely so fucking powerful. I literally cried my fucking eyes out, my heart out. I was like, he's like, oh my God, you're right, like hugging me. And I was like, yeah, mate. I was like, this is just fucking too intense. And it was fucking brilliant. But that's like a prime example of like the synchronicity. That's a really good example of the synchronicity. It's mental. I know we were talking about football, but my mate's birthday yesterday, and I watched esports Man United, so I thought I'll watch the game. and I think it's Man United once they scored the second goal. I was like, oh well, the whole game. I'd heard on the radio earlier on that the bookies had given like the odds of like 30 to 100 to win, and I thought, I reckon it's going to be a draw. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a draw, and it was a draw. But just before United scored the second goal, I was like, they're going to fucking score. I can feel it now. They're going to score. Bang, goal. And actually, the first Man United goal, my mate was being cocky, put a thing on the Snapchat. I was like, oh, you're going to fucking live to regret that. His streaming thing fucking glitched, and like I said, I reckon they're going to score now. And as soon as it come back on, it was 1-1. So it's like, I felt the vibe on that one big time. It was pretty mental. But on that note, and it's been really another great conversation with you, JP, and Kane, if you're still here, and whoever else has been on this conversation. Thank you very much. Thank you for the 3 likes. Thank you for anyone who has subscribed. Check out my community part of my YouTube channel. Kane, I think it was you that said it, about the, or was it you, JP? I think it was Kane, about the poisoning, how they poison us to like fight back against us. And look for that post I put on there, the sharing that I'd done of that yes mate, the sharing I'd done of that video about the covenant of the modern blood thing, because it's pretty scary, but pretty good, you know what I mean? It's like tells you pretty much what's going on. So from a cold Somerset, I bid you good night and God bless. Thank you.